Now let's go ahead and look at our back problems. So again, we're going to follow the same order. So we're going to start with our distributive property, which means I need to distribute my 5 to everything in my parentheses. We end up getting 5y minus 15 equals 19. Our next box says to combine like terms. Well, if I look on the left side, there's nothing I can combine. And if I look on the right side, there's nothing I can combine. So we're going to go ahead and skip this step. Our next box says to undo addition or subtraction. So that means I'm going to undo my minus 15 by adding 15 to both sides. We bring down our 5y. Our negative 15 and our positive 15 cancel. And on the right side, we have 19 plus 15 gives us 34. Our next box says to undo multiplication or division. So since I'm doing 5 times y, I'm going to divide by 5 on both sides. So that I get y equals 6 4/5. So we're going to see if this is the right answer by plugging it in. So we're going to do 5 parentheses 6 4/5 minus 3, and we're going to see if that equals 19. So again, we're going to follow our order of operations. So we do our parentheses first. Inside our parentheses, when we subtract, we end up getting 3 4/5 equals 19. And when we multiply 5 times 3 4/5, we do in fact get 19 as our answer, which means that we are correct. Part E, again, we do our distributive property first. So we're going to distribute our 4 to everything in the parentheses. We take 4 times 2a and we get 8a. We do 4 times 2 and we get a positive 8. We bring down our minus 17 and our equals 15. Our second box says to combine like terms. So on the left side, I see that I combine a positive 8 and a negative 17. They're like terms because neither one of them has a variable behind it. So when we combine those, we end up bringing down our 8a. We have positive 8 minus 17 gives us a minus or a negative 9, and it will equal 15. Our next step says to undo addition or subtraction, so I'm going to undo my subtracting 9 by adding 9 to both sides. We bring down our 8a. Our positive 9 and our negative 9 cancel, and on the right side we get 24. Our next step says to undo multiplication or division. So since we have 8 times a, we're going to undo it by dividing by 8. And we get a equals 3. So again, we need to check and make sure this is right. So we're going to plug it in. We're going to have 4 parentheses 2 times 3 plus 2 parentheses minus 17 equals 15. So we do what's in parentheses first, and then since we have multiplication and addition, we do our multiplication first. So that we get 4 parentheses 6 plus 2 minus 17 equals 15. Inside our parentheses, we get 8 when we add 6 and 2. We still have our minus 17 equals 15. We know that 4 times 8 is 32. Minus 17, and when we do subtract those, we end up getting 15 as our answer. So we know that we did it correctly. And then part F. Again, our first step says to distribute. Well, there is nothing to distribute in this problem, so we can go ahead and mark through this box. We don't need to do it. Our second step says to combine like terms. So on the left side, we see that we can combine 2b and 3b because they both have b's. When I take 2b plus 3b, we get 5b, and then we just bring everything else down. Our next step says to add or subtract and to undo it. So we need to undo our minus 6 by adding 6 to both sides. We bring down our 5b. Our negative 6 and positive 6 cancel, and this will give us 20. Our next step says to undo multiplication or division. So since we have 5 times b, we're going to divide by 5 on both sides to undo the multiplication. Our 5's cancel, and we get b equals 4. So again, we need to plug this in to make sure we did it right. So we're going to have 2 times 4 minus 6 plus 3 times 4 equals 14. So following our order of operations, we need to do our multiplication first, left to right. So we have 2 times 4 is 8. We bring down our minus 6. We can go ahead and multiply 3 and 4 to get 12, and we're going to see if this gives us 14. Then we do addition and subtraction left to right. So we do 8 minus 6 first, and that gives us 2 plus 12, which we know in fact is 14. So our answer is correct.